Yeah.
I'm a friend of Rachel's. They call me Glenn, but there are many other names they call me. But I want you to meet Rachel today as her in her true beauty. So as you meet Rachel, you're going to learn a lot today, and I guarantee that it's going to be something that's going to open you up and take you for a bit of a place that you really want to go, and she's going to help you get there.
Oh,
That's my Rachel.
that's so beautiful. Wow. I wish I had a little thing like that because I learned so much from you already, Glenn. I mean,
Get out of here. Come on.
oh, stop. You come from such an amazing place in your heart that it's just like you said, it's so pure, it's so loving, and you've been so grateful. I mean, I've been grateful to just have been able to meet you and hear your story and hear the people that you've helped, and it just sounds like you really love to spread your light to everybody. I love that.
No, it's also I love to have fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So let's go to the opposite of what would be normal and natural. Let's talk about dance a little bit, okay?
Yeah.
We'll get into the other stuff there. So there's all of these serious topics that you can talk about, you know? And many of them are really substantial and rich. But I want to know a little bit about you. When you let the dance come to you, when you're not thinking, when the work is carrying you, the dance and music are carrying you, what does that feel like?
Oh my gosh. It feels like everything that ever happened is just irrelevant, and you're just kind of floating in the air, and I don't know, everything just kind of goes away, and you just get to feel the music and feel every bit of story that music goes through, with the highs and the lows, and if there's vocals in it, you actually get into it. It just feels like you no longer really surrounded by everything else going on, but in everything else going on, and just floating through that. And that's really what dance feels like. And I think that's why it's so therapeutic, is because you don't have to think about which place you have to fit in, because you're just part of this piece. And so,
Look at you. You're saying it perfectly. And in my world, I would have said you're swimming in the pool.
yeah.
Because you're not, there's no thoughts, right? And when you're dancing, you okay with this? Is this comfortable for you what I'm talking about? Okay, good.
Mhm.
I'm just going with what's happening. And I'm
Yeah.
going a little contrarian, but it felt natural to go here. You know what I mean? Because we had love and joy, both of us, in the topic. So if I
Mm-hmm.
go to something thoughtful, but we have this feeling that we both can
Yeah.
rock on, you know? So that was my way of sorting it. So when you do the dancing, when you feel dancing, is it like, is there a thought about the words of the song, or is it more just a feeling in your body? Even, how do you describe what it's like for you as you let go into it? What's it like?
Letting go into it, I think, is part of, like, first, I think anybody that first starts to get into dance and just starting to feel the beat, is you're starting to let go of the thoughts of, what are people gonna think about me?
Right,
Am I
right.
gonna look silly? Especially if you're taping it, you're like, am I looking silly? And
Yes.
so when you first get into it, it's just like those thoughts that come into your head of thinking about other people and thinking about judgment or thinking about looking silly. And then as you go deeper into it, you're just starting to shed these layers of thought, of extra processing that you don't need, that take you away from really truly feeling any moments. And that's really the process of getting in there, is just taking down layers of thought process that don't serve you in the moment. And I feel like that's really what it feels like to get into it, is just those little things coming off of, what does this look like? How does that make me feel? It's just what is.
And so as you feel the music carrying you, almost as if you don't have to think about what movements you're going to do, what people
Yeah.
will think,
Yeah.
not that you're going into a trance or not. You're
Mm-hmm.
just doing dance.
Yeah.
What does it teach us, you think, about living a rich life, the way we feel when we dance? For you, what does it teach you about a rich life when
Yeah.
you let that happen to you in a world that's pretty complicated we live in.
Mm-hmm. That's true. This world is really complicated. And I think dance is just something that teaches people how to reconnect. Like, dance isn't just a movement, it's also something that's really primal. Like, it goes back into our history many years before. It's like we had the rain dances and we had all these different types of dances that symbolize things in life, and it's just something that's integrated. It's very primal. It's something that teaches us something from deep down. And so I feel like when you open up that side of just dancing and being free in your movement and allowing your body to move, you're tapping into not only something that's just feeling good and getting your blood pumping or all those things that happen when you move your body, but it's also tapping into a deep heritage that we've all had. And it teaches us in life that everything also comes full circle. You know, we all are just part of this big old circle and cycle of life, and the answers are always going to be right there. And no matter if I've been through something or somebody else has been through something, like, we've all been there, and it's just a matter of letting go and being in the moment and flowing through things the way that they feel right to flow through them. And it's not about being right or taking like 2 steps here and a spin here. It's about feeling good and just making the moves and seeing how life unfolds, because it's not about being right, it's about creating a masterpiece, and that's life.
I'm right there.
Yes.
So now I could skate with you for about 3 weeks on the vibration we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to explore one, and if anytime it feels a little clunky, you know my heart has no malice toward you, but I'm doing this for all of us, and I'm happy to flip every one of these questions and more of yours to me. You understand that, right? There's no, okay?
Yeah.
So with the hardships that you have gone through, and the difficulty and pain and heartbreak and trauma and real life stuff that doesn't make us happy. I'm getting wet in my eyes as I talk. So as you go through that, what role does dance play, you think, in the healing and releasing of that which we carry?
Yeah. That is a deep question. And
you have the answer. And you have the answer.
Yeah, we all have that answer.
I know.
I think we all do. Like, that is just a very deep question, because through those hardships, I would dance. And it's because you feel like there's all this stuff pent up. And I think moving and not just expressing it with your mind, because I think we just get in these things where we just think about the heartbreak and the traumas and the stuff that somebody else did to us. And we think about that over and over again, and it hurts. And we never really let it go. And that's kind of what dance is doing, is saying, I can let it go, and I can just move through this. And it's just healing through it, and you're moving and you're thinking about all these things, but it feels good because you can move around and you're not just spinning your mind, you're actually moving your body. And I think that when that happens, you can see things in a new perspective. You can feel better. You can heal from it, because you're not just spinning it over and over and over again in your mind, feeling bad about yourself. You're actually doing something. You're expressing yourself. I feel, yeah, that's like a big thing.
I know this. And I'm not trying to put you on the spot, because I'm going to bring me into the conversation when the time's right, or you can. You can say, hey, old man, come on, get your ass in the middle of this conversation. You're just playing cheap shit by asking me good questions here. But here's what we've said so far without words. We have said that there are ancient rituals and hymns, dances, rhythms that go before we even knew words, that people had, and that we can tap into that ancient way. And that whether it is laughing, working, dancing, exercise, sex, whatever, they all have the potential to heal bigger than words. For me, bigger than words.
Yeah.
Now I want to share a little, and you can jump in, but I'm just going where I'm going with this, okay? You okay? Okay. So the piece I'm going to go to is, I had this friend, a girlfriend, no more, but she was a wonderful woman, really a lot of love. And we went dancing about 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been married and divorced, and it was very difficult. But now I'm in a good spot. And she's a very good dancer, beautiful dancer. And I don't mean just smooth, I mean the energy of it. And I was there on the sidelines, feeling clunky, like I don't know how to dance anymore.
Yeah.
And then I realized she's not judging me, whatever I do. She's just accepting and cool. And I just let into it. I let myself fall into dance. And about an hour and a half later, I wasn't tired of nonstop dancing. Wasn't tired at all. No tiredness. A man came up to me who I didn't know, and he put his arm on my shoulder, and he said, "I love the wild blood in you." And then these two little girls behind me, maybe 8 and 10 years old, I saw them, and I really connect with kids. And I said, "What are you guys doing?" She said, "Should we tell them?" "Yeah, we're copying you because you're just so different and wild."
Oh
"So
my
you've been copying what I do?" "Yeah." And I had my eyes open, but I was just letting go of all the judgments people had of me,
God.
all the judgments, without even thinking of it. And now, if you and I were in the same room and you put on music, I could dance nonchalant and not have the need to go claim my dance. Do you
Yeah.
understand? I don't need to claim it because it's already in there. Now I could surrender to it further. You understand where I'm going, Rachel? I could
Mm-hmm.
surrender further, and it can go really cooking. I mean, it can really cook. Like sweaty and just wild and spirits and all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
But now I can just, people just dance and they shake their hips a little bit, move their arms. And it's like
Yeah.
cool, non-communicative dancing, just like
Mm-hmm.
bopping around. I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't do that because I didn't have me, my feeling. But when I went into that place where he called it the wild blood, and she was very supportive. She goes, "I know you needed this." And now I could just dance like bopping around because I can feel underneath the bopping dance is the real dance.
Yeah.
And it's nice. Isn't it good? You see what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. You want to go dancing? You got a partner. I go dance. I
I
love
love
dancing.
that.
You get it? I love it. And as a man, it's a wonderful feeling to feel your manliness and dancing.
Yes.
It's a beautiful sensation. It's just like, and I'll say this: I was with a woman there, and I'm with somebody. I'm with her. I was with her. It wasn't like and I'm like a player or anything. And this other woman came up to me, and I went, "She's hitting on me while the girlfriend's at the bathroom." And it was just like in the movies. You feel like you're like in the movies. And she came back, and my friend came back, and she took my arm and said hi. And she said hi, and I was like, and I tell everybody the truth. I'm standing here by myself. She walks up to me and she starts talking,
Oh
and then
my
she takes,
goodness.
you know what I mean, and takes my hand, and it was like, "What's going on?" I said, "You should ask her." You get it? And it's just the
That's
beauty of
beautiful.
it's just the beauty of dance. You get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
No ego. Little kids copying you. A man
Yeah.
puts his hand on your shoulder, wild blood. And
Mm-hmm.
it's very young. It's very young. And I don't really love the world of the mind. I'm intrigued by it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a lover. I don't love the mind. The heart, yeah. But the
Mm-hmm.
mind, not so much. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
you hang out with the mind. It's like interesting. Very interesting. So I'm good now with dance. For me, I'm good with dance. And this is really the voice I want on these things. Do you get it? This voice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it's not too vulgar or gross, is it? It's
No.
honest, right? It's real, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm a little raw, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of that because humanity is right in there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It is.
Humanity is, and I don't mean raw like lewd. I mean,
No.
you know what I mean? Like natural.
Yeah.
Use words like
You
lover.
are authentic.
Yeah, lover you can use. You don't have to say, "Oh, it's a friend." It's not
Mm-hmm.
a friend, it's a lover. They're
Yeah.
friends that are different. someone who's your lover is a lover. That's a better way of speaking, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
With passion. With
Yes,
passion.
the passion.
Yes.
So we've covered a lot of ground, but there's more I'm interested in. So everyone was watching and kind of applauding you as you were doing your in the gym the other day.
With the
Thousands.
weightlifting.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I watched you, and I saw sometimes you stumble, and
Yes.
sometimes you stepped into it. And
Mhm.
sometimes I could see as soon in the first nanosecond. Can you believe this? I knew it was going up or not.
Yes.
I knew,
Yes.
I mean, almost at the time you gripped the bar
Mm-hmm.
and your feet got solid on the ground, less than a little bit of a second, not a second, I could see that's going up, or I
Yep.
could see it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And is there some acuity or some tuning you can do with yourself
Yeah.
where you can know something about that, or do you say something like when it went up? Tell me a little bit about the phenomena of
Yeah.
Rachel and lifting.
Yes, that is another animal. And so into that is this whole theory that I had behind all those different types of movements. Like there's certain personalities that come with being dancers. There's certain personalities that come with being people that do what I do, which is called Olympic weightlifting. And there's personalities that come with other types of sports that you can do in the gym or outside, like soccer players even. It all attracts a certain personality. And so what I realized is, as we spoke before, dance is all about passion, love, shedding layers. When it comes to Olympic weightlifting, the mindset of that whole entire group, you'll find often is about precision, loyalty, fierce, just strict to the law kind of straight A type of people. And that's what you'll find often in that. And that's what gets you into that whole mindset, because Olympic weightlifting is just the most precise sport. If you are just a little tiny inch off, you will miss that. And so you have to be precise. You have to think about, how are my arms going to be? How are my legs going to be? How long should I hold my breath? All of these little tiny minuscule details. And without those trainings to think about those things, you'll miss almost immediately. And so if you go into the bar and you look at the bar and you just think about, I'm just going to throw this up, immediately you've lost it, right? But if you can go up and stand there and say, I'm focused, you can envision it, you can think of how it's going to go up and how you need to fix your technique, and you can find a reason big enough to do this and try something heavier than you've ever done before, then you'll make it. And that's really just where it all comes down, is just this thought process of all of these weird checklists that you need to make sure that you're on point with. And then at the very end, like a deep motivation of, like, what I always think of is my family and all of the hardships that I've been through, and just thinking, if I'm strong enough to put those things over my head and stand up, I can do this. And then I just go for it.
So now that we have completely taken apart the beauty of your inner life in weightlifting, which I love, now I'm going to share some things that are real. And also, you have anything you want to ask? I'm going to stop for a second. Is there
Oh, no,
anything?
I would love to hear what you're
Okay.
going to add in
Well,
there. Mm-hmm.
So I had an opportunity years and years ago. I was studying mental training, world-class athletes, and I got a master's degree in this, in clinical psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And there's sports I know and there's sports I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball, I coached high school, I coached college, I coached, even did some work with the Yankees. I really know, if we ever go to a baseball game, you're going to see he's so into what's happening that no one's seeing. It's like ridiculous. This guy's like at an all wire, like every little thing. I know there's so much code being spoken, batting, hitting, fielding.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, in sports I don't know, like synchronized swimming.
Oh.
So I went to this academy in Colorado Springs. You would love it. Mental training of world-class athletes. It was great. And I was a young guy, and I'm hanging out, and my light was booming because I was so into it. And the
Uh-huh.
guy who's the dean, the doctor, Dr. Jerry May, says, "You're really into this, aren't you, Glenn?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, what do you know about synchronized swimming?" "Nothing." He goes, "Well, the guy who was doing it, the psychologist, left. So I thought it'd be nice for you to have breakfast with the coach tomorrow. Here's a book. Enjoy breakfast." So I'm going to meet the Olympic sports psychology coach on the synchronized swim coach tomorrow for breakfast. Yeah. You know I know nothing. Yeah, that's all right. She said it's okay. What am I going to talk about? You'll figure it out. You're a smart guy. So I'm completely honest with her. Completely honest. She said, "Well, you know something about mental training. I can tell that just the way you are. You know something about yourself, and you know something about how to optimize, don't you?" "Yeah, but I don't know anything about it." "Don't worry about it. Let's see if the girls and you hit it off." And a lot of these girls are 16, 17-year-old girls who moved away from their home, get it? And gone to Walnut Creek, California, and live with a family and train all the time. This is what the 4-year no off season, 4-year block commitment. And this is the Olympics U.S. synchronized swim team. Some of these girls are it. They're going to be in the Olympics. And we had so much fun, and we worked so hard, and we had such good conversations, and I became the coach. I become like the real sports psychology guy, not like the intern. No, 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 no. She says, Gail's like, "You're great. Like, you're great. You tell them when they're upside down and they're doing these pirouettes and the oxygen's coming out, they have to let it out so no bubbles go to the surface. As they're letting go of air, you can't see the surface. It has to be unperturbed, undisturbed. So the oxygen coming out of your mouth, your nose, has to be tiny little bubbles so it doesn't affect the water level." And I'd say, when you're upside down and you're running out of air, do you feel that you're really going to block out, or are you really going to block out? Or is it just some mechanism in you getting near the end of your air, triggering you to say, freak out? But can you have choice to go a little further?
Wow.
Starting to get the early freak out message. And they say, let's try that. And so we live in the water every day, 2 times a day in the water. They live in the water. They go to school, not a regular school. They go to this abbreviated school. They do elliptical, weights, running, training every day, rotating, and they're in the water. And so we had these conversations like nobody's business. And she loved it. She loved it. She said, "You are just, what you call bee's knees." She's like a Midwestern woman. "Bee's knees, you are, Mr. Toby. You're the bee's knees." And then she said, "I'm recommending you to the gymnastic team." I don't know anything about gymnastics. Well, the guy said he liked to find somebody who could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so one led to another. But what I'm getting to is, I would love someday to sit with you about your weight training and really talk with you. And not in a airy fairy way, in a way that's very grounded with you, all the way down to your feet, grounded like you're in the Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And you can feel a power rising in you. That although the weight feels heavy at times, in some ways it's not heavy at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's heavy in the mind. And I got to get balanced. I need my butt underneath me. And good technique. And I need to explode when I need to explode. But I'm nowhere near what I'm capable of doing.
Yeah.
See where I'm going?
Yes, I love that.
That's how I got into all the stuff I'm doing now. Started from this mental sports stuff. And that's
Wow.
the
I
technique.
didn't,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's why technique, when you say technique, technique is important.
Mm-hmm.
And on one level, you completely can let go and just explode when the time is right. And maybe it'll work and maybe it won't. But explode. Because this is true, I saw people who were maybe the 5th best gymnast in America, not even like 1 or 2, win the gold medal, beating other Americans and others. Because on that day, they nailed it. On that day, they nailed it.
Yes.
And the piece I would go to, you okay with this so far? Am I rambling a little
Yeah,
bit?
I
Okay.
love
The
this.
piece I go to is, with the men's gymnastic team, there's a team medal and an individual medal. I can win the rings, or we can win overall team.
Yeah.
And the coach asked me, because now I'm feeling a little like I got swagger. Hey, the women think I'm good. I know what I'm doing. I don't know how to spell gymnastics. I can't even do anything. So I asked the coach, said, what are your observations?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you have remarkably talented gymnasts, but you don't have a team.
Mm.
He said, what do you mean? We got some, these guys are great. I said, I didn't say they weren't great. But the guy who's best on the rings, notice how he doesn't teach other people how he does his moves on the rings?
Mm.
Because he's competing for him to win the gold medal on the rings, not for the team to win the gold medal overall in gymnastics.